Hello guys, huge news dropped for NTE today because we just got a massive breakdown on Lacrimosa's upcoming kit. Honestly, from the looks of it, she is shaping up to be an absolute monster of a DPS character, potentially eclipsing anyone we've seen yet. We've got our hands on her early mechanics, covering her unique playstyle, combat abilities, stance changes, and how those intriguing nightmare stacks actually function. Reviewing these leaks, her kit feels incredibly distinct from the current roster, bringing a completely fresh dynamic to the game. In today's video, I'm giving you a deep dive into everything regarding Lacrimosa before her official debut in the upcoming 1.1 special program. Plus, I'll soon have another breakdown ready, covering all the major expectations and announcements heading our way in the version 1.1 update. To ensure you don't miss a beat and stay completely up to speed on everything Neverness to Everness, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. You definitely won't want to miss our massive 1.1 update coverage dropping very shortly. Let's dive straight into the action without wasting any time and break down everything about Lacrimosa, our next upcoming S-Rank character. From what we've gathered, she's slated to headline the Phase 1 banner for the version 1.1 update, meaning her release is right around the corner on June 3rd. She's arriving as an S-Rank Chaos element character representing the Bureau of Anomaly Control's ETD 4th Division. Role-wise, she is designed to be a heavy-hitting main DPS, whose entire kit revolves around damage over time, DOT mechanics, building up nightmare stacks, and triggering massive burst detonations. While her official launch date will be set in stone during the upcoming 1.1 special program, you can safely expect her during the initial phase of the patch. If the developers stick to their usual schedule, she'll be playable incredibly soon, and honestly, she looks like one of the most mechanically unique units we've ever seen. Instead of relying on a standard linear attack pattern like the rest of the roster, Lacrimosa can actively cycle between two completely distinct combat modes, Tomato Metal and Tomato Percussion. One stance utilizes a literal frying pan to deliver devastating melee strikes, while the other shifts her into a strange, ranged playstyle utilizing red jelly projectiles. We'll definitely see high-quality gameplay of this during the special program stream, but essentially, her loop requires you to constantly juggle both forms mid-combat while steadily applying nightmare status effects to your targets. Looking closely at her early kit leaks, we can get a fantastic preview of how this chaotic flow operates in practice, starting with her basic attacks. When she's utilizing her Tomato Metal form, Lacrimosa unleashes up to 5 consecutive chaos-infused melee swings. A fascinating twist here is that the projectile spawned by her second attack can actually be shattered by subsequent hits, triggering an immediate explosion for bonus chaos damage to provide built-in burst potential. Meanwhile, switching to her alternate mode completely reworks her basic string into a barrage of ranged red jelly projectiles, which sets up her double ultimate mechanic beautifully. The core engine driving this playstyle is an innate mechanic called flavor variation, which allows Lacrimosa to manually swap her combat styles at any point during battle. This officially makes her the very first true dual-form, dual-mode character in Neverness To Everness. Swapping stances isn't just a menu toggle either, it executes an active, flashy attack. If she transitions from Tomato Metal, she hurls her frying pan forward before executing a slick flying kick to slide into Tomato Percussion mode. Conversely, if she's already in Tomato Percussion, she leaps high into the air and slams down hard onto the pavement to transition back into her melee stance. This fluidity is absolutely crucial, because her active stance directly dictates the functionality of her ultimate, effectively giving her access to double ultimates, which is just wild to think about. As if dual forms weren't enough, another incredibly unique aspect of her kit is an ability known as Devilish Inspiration. This mechanic allows Lacrimosa to enter a dedicated aiming mode, letting her lock onto targets using a precise on-screen crosshair reminiscent of Nanoli's targeting system. By focusing on specific enemies, she can literally analyze and learn their active combat techniques, temporarily replacing one of her own standard abilities with a copied version of the enemy's skill. Yes, you heard that right. Lacrimosa can straight-up mimic the abilities of various anomalies she encounters on the battlefield. For example, early gameplay clips showcase her copying a bat anomaly, allowing her to fly freely around the arena while unleashing the bat's signature skills. This degree of flexibility suggests she'll be able to copy a massive catalog of different anomalies, making her one of the most adaptive and versatile characters in the entire game, depending on how many enemy skill interactions the developers have coded. Beyond that, her broader kit features standard aerial inputs, heavy plunge options, and a highly rewarding perfect dodge follow-up that lets her spray an overwhelming amount of red jelly across the field. Shifting focus to her primary active skills, her standard ability is titled Morning Tomato. When activated, Lacrimosa hurls a chaotic barrage of incomplete Esper constructs, dealing solid AoE chaos damage to surrounding targets, while instantly applying those vital nightmare stacks. These nightmare stacks serve as the absolute foundation of her entire damage profile, given that the vast majority of her DPS scaling relies on repeatedly stacking this debuff. Once the enemies are sufficiently afflicted, she can detonate the stacks to drastically amplify her damage output for massive spikes. Then we have her ultimate abilities, which easily rank among the most visually insane elements of her design. In her tomato metal stance, her ultimate causes her to hijack a literal truck, crashing it directly into her enemies to inflict 10 rapid instances of chaos damage while flooding them with additional nightmare stacks. Switch over to her tomato percussion stance, and her alternative ultimate shifts to her tearing an entire car apart to launch a barrage of massive, high-impact AoE chaos explosions across the zone. To round out her utility, she boasts a highly functional suite of support passives. First up is Sleepwalk, her exploration-focused passive that mirrors her combat mimicry. Out of combat, players can simply hold down the dodge button to transform into a bat and fly around the map freely at the cost of stamina. Next is Tomato Banquet, which grants a Discord enhancement, dealing an extra chunk of damage equal to 400% of her attack power whenever a Discord reaction triggers against an already broken enemy target. Lastly, she has Sleep In, a passive that grants a bonus charge of Morning Tomato after Lacrimosa cycles through her mode transitions 5 times within a single skill cooldown window, though this can only trigger once per cooldown cycle. When it comes to building teams around her unique mechanics, early guides point to a few standout synergies. Right now, her absolute best partner appears to be Sakiri, alongside characters like Fadia, who mesh incredibly well with her rotation. Sakiri looks practically mandatory for optimal setups because her Scorch Enhancement passive seamlessly amplifies the nightmare DOT ticks that Lacrimosa pumps out, scaling up the overall damage enemies take from passive DOT effects. If you're aiming to maximize your damage over time, Sakiri is an automatic pick. For the rest of the squad, the roster remains relatively flexible. While Sakiri is a constant fixture in early theory crafting, you can easily slot in the main character, Zero, or Haniel if you're lacking premium options. Alternatively, if you happen to pull Nanalie, running her alongside Lacrimosa looks like a highly potent combination. Just keep in mind that since this is early beta information, specific numbers or kit attributes could still shift before version 1.1 officially goes live. That wraps up our early overview of Lacrimosa's kit and gameplay loop. Let me know in the comments below. Are you planning to pull for her? Or are you saving your currency for future banners? If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for all the latest NTE updates right here. I'll keep you completely covered as soon as the 1.1 special program drops.